Hello and welcome to my channel, Shanintra Says. I am Shanintra and I'm going to talk to you today about solo travel tips. It's holiday season. Holiday season is here, guys. Ready to get on those planes, escape this winter weather, go to a warm place on the beach and just enjoy yourself. Well, I want to give you some tips to help you make that holiday travel a success, a resounding success. It's nothing worse than booking a trip and going away and then things are not going well and you've spent all that money already. Just a little bit about me before we jump in. I'm Shanintra. I am the creator and the host of the Dear Single Women's podcast, which is a podcast for women who are healing, growing, living, and loving their lives on their terms. On that podcast, I empower women. I want to teach them how to thrive and love all stages of their life, and that includes the single stage, right? Very important that we value ourselves in all of the stages of our life, not just when we get married and have kids. So welcome to my channel. I hope that you subscribe. Please take a second to subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you never miss an episode of the podcast, you never miss a live video, or you never miss one of these recorded videos that I'm going to do. So on that note, let's jump in. I came up with these tips when I went to Bonaire. So Bonaire is one of the ABC islands. There's Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. I wanted to go to Curacao. I could not go because my passport was not 6 months current. And so I had to go to a place where your passport only had to be valid for the time you were there. So I chose Bonaire and it was a great experience. I went over the summer in end of June into July, spent 2 weeks there. It was beautiful. But on that time traveling, I learned some things about how to make your travel experience the best for you. And so I wanted to compile that in a video for you because it is travel season. I wanted to come up with some tips for you. I do have my notes, and I even wrote it on the Delphins. I don't know if you can see that Delphins Beach Resort, Bonaire paper the pad that they left me. So it just makes a lot of sense. Everything's vibing right now. All right, so my solo travel tip for you, number 1, outsource your support. If you're traveling by yourself, a lot of it is already on your shoulders to make everything happen, make everything go smooth. So you need support, even if you are traveling alone. Outsource that support to someone else. Rely on the hotel or the resort to help you do some things. So when I was in Bonaire, I had the resort arrange my taxi for me to get from the airport to the hotel. I didn't do that on my own. I was in another country, but I didn't do an Uber, I didn't do a Lyft or anything like that. They arranged a taxi for me. I also called the front desk and had them arrange dinner reservations for me when I decided to go out to this dinner on the beach thing. And that was very good because I originally tried to do it myself. I was a little confused on their website. And so I called them, the hotel, and they were like, sure, we'll arrange that for you. What time would you like to go? And I was like, oh, okay. This is something people do? Cool. Do that. And the reason why I knew that is because I looked in the booklet. You know, when you go into your room, they leave you a little pamphlet or booklet or book. Mine was a full book with information. I learned in there that they will take care of any reservations that we need. So you got to look at that booklet. That's another tip for you when I say outsource your support. Look at that booklet and see what are they willing to do for me? How will they help accommodate me and make this the best stay that I can have? So outsource your support. Open that pamphlet, guys. All right, my second tip for you is to get better accommodations. As a traveler, I love traveling. It's one of my favorite things to do. I've traveled both ways. I've stayed in poor accommodations where it was just a glorified studio apartment and there was not much there to help me, and it was really on me to just do everything on my own. And then I stayed in Delphins and also Bamboo Bonaire. Those were luxury accommodations. I've done it both ways, right? I've wanted to just take a trip and it didn't matter so much how I slept or where I slept. I just wanted to be at that place. I get it. But now having done both, I would definitely encourage you to book better accommodations. If you want to have a solo trip that works for you and goes off without a hitch, you need to be in a place that is higher end where they will go out of their way to make sure you're having the best experience ever because you have paid more for it. So maybe you can't take that little smaller trip, save that money and put it towards a bigger trip, a better trip in a place that has better accommodations and better rooms. It does really make a difference. When I went to Bonaire, how this benefited me, I paying for a better room at the resort of Delphins, I was closer to the beach. So I spent more money to be closer to the beach. I was close to all the restaurants. Literally walk out my door, walk a little bit, and I'm right there. The beach was, I could see the beach from my room. I paid for the beach view. I forgot what they call it, the garden view or whatever. It was so far. It was so far. So even having to get your bags to your room, I read a review for a woman. It was such a hassle because it was so far from where she was staying from the entrance. Mine was walk right around the corner. I had the beach view, gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Highly recommend it. This might become a commercial for Delphins. The beach was the beach view was just absolutely gorgeous. You had the restaurants all within walking distance. I can't give him points on that though. I mean, if you want to know more details, you could check out my review of Bonaire also on the channel, but I can't give them points for that. The food was not it for me. I would definitely need to get a car and be able to go out to eat if I stayed again. But that was the point of this statement. The point was being closer to everything, paying more, shelling out a little bit more really does go a long way when you're traveling alone. Check in and check out was so simple. I was just very close, less stress. I got my room. I was just relaxed. I was happy. Everything was peaceful and calm because I didn't have to stress out just to even get to the room. So I highly recommend that you upgrade your accommodations. Wherever you would usually stay, take it up at least one step. If you are in the resort but you want to pay for the cheaper room, check the prices. Sometimes it's not that much of a difference per night. Pay the extra because you're going to get a lot out of it. Tip number 3, tip well. Tip well, because I have found that when I tip well, people are more willing to do for me and less of me asking, less of me haggling. People just want to give me more because I have given them. So an example of this, when I was in Bonaire, I paid for the breakfast for the week in Delphins. I tipped the woman who brought me my croissant and brought me my eggs and everything like that. And so when I was there the next day, she was like, she remembered what I liked, how I liked my eggs. She's like, yeah, you want those like fried hard, right? And she made sure that I was good because she remembered that I tipped well. Same when I went to the restaurant. The guy there, he was very helpful to me. And when I was there the next day, you know, he was just like checking on me, making sure I was good, even though I wasn't his table. So it was because people remember. They remember your presence. They remember how you have treated them. They remember that money that you gave to them. That matters too. So tip well. It can seem like it adds up to a lot, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. I probably spent like just like handing out cash, not like the tip on the paper, but just handing out tips, probably like $75 to $100 on that trip, just in handing out cash to the housekeeper, to this, to that. And yeah, it could seem like a lot, but it really did make a difference for me. When I needed what I needed, those people were there and those people were reliable for me because I tipped well. So don't be afraid to do it. my next piece of advice for you to make your travel season the best one yet, you have to be bold. Be bold and be clear in asking for what you want. How you present really matters. I'm speaking from when I traveled internationally. I imagine this advice can apply anywhere. When I was in Bonaire, just the way I presented that I'm here, I've spent my money, I want things to go well for me. What are you going to do for me? That's the kind of vibe that I gave off to the front desk, the people who checked me in. And I'm in a luxury resort anyway, so yeah, you're already gonna get treated better because it's like you've paid your money for a good place, right? Going back to better accommodations. But even in that, where I'd originally stayed, the place wasn't, so I stayed for 2 weeks and I couldn't afford to stay at the luxury resort for the entire 2 weeks. Bamboo Bonaire, it would have just been too pricey. It was like $2,500 for the week, so I couldn't afford to stay for 2 weeks. And the accommodations that I wanted, because I did pay for the highest one. So what I did was I stayed 1 week there, and then I was going to stay for the next week in another place called Landhaus Bellum. And I'm like, all right, I did the luxury, so here I'll just do less. I'll just stay like in a room, as long as they have like a deck and whatever, I'll be happy there. Well, it was awful. It was disgusting. It was just, it was a waste of money. I spent $500 there. It was a waste. It was $500 for the week compared to $2,500 for the week. It was a waste of money. I should have just did luxury through and through, because guess what? I had to go and book Delphins the very next day, and it was I paid another $1,000 for that. So it just get better accommodations. Maybe that would be my biggest tip. Go for what is better. But this tip is about being bold and being present, because when I showed up and I called them and I said, listen, where I am now is not how it presented online. I need to move out of here pronto. What can you guys do for me? Do you have a room? I'm willing to take it in the morning. And it was a lot of back and forth. Oh, we have to see it. And I was like, listen, this is what I need. Money is not an option. What can you do for me? And I was bold. I was present. I took up space. I wasn't wallflowering. Like I just need, and I really need, and oh, this didn't work out. And it was just like, listen, this is the situation. It is what it is. Here's what I need. What can you do? You can't help me? Okay, who can I speak to? Because I refuse to stay in Landhaus Bellum for another night. What can you do for me? And they did it for me. They were like, okay, what do you want? I want the beach view. All right, we have a beach view room. How many days you want to stay? At that point, it was 6 days. I want to stay 6 days. Okay. When can you send the car for me? Because I don't plan on, I don't want to figure out how to get myself there. I just need to get out of this horrible situation, and I need to be in a new place in the morning. So what can you do? Okay, well, what time would you want to go? We'll send a car for you. We'll send someone to pick you up. And it just really all flowed. And when I got there, of course, since it's a beach resort and a luxury place, higher end, they greeted me with a drink, and they gave me a beach towel, and they were like, your room's not ready yet since I did it so last minute, but please go sit by the pool and go enjoy yourself. We'll take your luggage and hold it here for you in this locked room. Go enjoy yourself. And that's exactly what I did. And I stayed out there. My room really wasn't ready till 3 p.m. And I was there by 9:30. I had my breakfast. I went by the pool, went to sleep, enjoyed myself. I went back over there close to 3. They were like, the room's ready. Go into your room. And it was just a wonderful experience. But it was because I showed up boldly, calmly, respectfully, absolutely, but boldly. Here's what I need. What can you do for me? Be present, guys. Be present. Okay? The tone that you give off is what people are going to give back. So if you're giving off like weakness and I'm sorry that I have to do this, and I don't mean to inconvenience you, but I just really need a place to stay. Then it's like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, no, here's what I need. What can you do for me? Be bold, be present. People will respond in kind to that. Okay? People will respond in kind to that because you are clear about what you need. All right, my next tip for you to make your travel season a success this year, do your pre-work. You must do your pre-work. I am a spontaneous person. I don't always do my pre-work. I just like make sure the basics are taken care of, and I just want to go. But what I recommend for you is that you do your pre-work. You need to know what your arrangements are. Make as many arrangements as you can before you go, because this trip is on you, right? You're a solo traveler. It's up to you to make this trip a success. Make sure that you take care of as much as you can before you go. So in going to Bamboo Bonaire, what I did, because I knew I wasn't going to drive this on this trip, so I went on Google Maps and I looked to see where are the nearest restaurants and how far are they. Okay. And then I went to see, there wasn't many, by the way. So I saw what my options are ahead of time for eating, because they didn't have a restaurant on site. They do have a restaurant, but it's more of an experience. It's called Chefs. It's about an experience. It's not just like I sit down and I get food to eat. So I knew already going in, I'm not driving, and they don't have a lot of restaurants nearby. So I knew my pickings were going to be slim, and that I was pretty much going to be eating the same thing for the week. And that's exactly what happened. I also looked it up, and I saw that there was a grocery store close by that I could walk to. I didn't figure that out through Google Maps. I went to TripAdvisor, and I'm reading reviews. And people are saying like, oh, go to the Chinese grocery store half a mile away. You can, go there and you can pick up things that you need for the week. And since I was, or your stay, and since I was staying in a place that had a kitchen and full kitchen and everything like that, I knew that I could get things to put in there and stock up for the week. So that's something I did, but that came through me doing my pre-work. I looked at TripAdvisor and read reviews and saw what people had to say about eating and other activities that you could do. I'm not a swimmer. Bonaire is known for snorkeling. I don't swim. Therefore, I don't snorkel. So I had to look up for me, what else was there for me to do that I could enjoy? I went around and I did my research. And so by the time I got there, I didn't have to worry about where I'm going to eat, how this is going to go, and all those things, because I already did all my pre-work. So I would encourage you to take time out if you're planning a trip to make sure you look up as much as you can, write out as much as you can, get as much info as you can before you actually step on that plane. One thing I wish I had looked up that I did not, and this is something I will encourage you, check out if the restaurants deliver, because that's not a thing in Bonaire. So there were times where I really didn't want to go get my food, but delivery is not a thing in Bonaire. I'm like, oh, it's just 2 blocks. There's no way they wouldn't deliver, but they did. So make sure you check to see if the place you want to eat, the place you plan on eating at, do they deliver, because you may get tired and not want to go get it yourself. My last tip to help you make this travel season the best yet: if you are flying internationally, make sure you get an aisle seat coming home. I usually like the window seats. I like to lay my head on there and look out the window and go to sleep. And it's more comfortable just being snuggled in my little corner. But going home, I definitely booked an aisle seat, and I did that intentionally. Coming from an international flight, you have to go through customs. And you have to go through that whole process before you can even go get your bags. So I wanted to make sure it was easy for me to get up and out. Giving yourself that extra time by not having to wait to get out of a seat, it does play a difference. So I booked an aisle seat. I checked my luggage and I just had my book bag. So when it was time to go, just put that thing on, walked out. And a lot of people were standing there trying to get their stuff overhead, which is another little tip I'll give you if I can. Try not to have anything up there, because all I had to do was grab my book bag from under the seat. And while all those people were doing that, I was just able to say, excuse me, I'm just going to get by. I'm just going to go real quick. Like, I didn't have to wait for any of that. And that's what I did. And it did play a role, because when I compared where I was in the line to customs to the other people, they were kind of far back. So make sure you set yourself up for success. Get an aisle seat. Try not to have anything overhead in any of the storage if you can. And when you get to customs, make sure you have everything ready that they need to see. My last little tip with that, after you get through customs, if no one's picking you up and you're really doing solo travel, while you're waiting for your bags, I recommend booking your taxi. So I didn't book the Lyft until after I got my bags, because I was like worried and everything. But the amount of traffic, of course, getting picked up from the airport, the amount of people in the cars, it took forever for them to get to me anyway. I had to wait out there for a while for my taxi to cut through all the traffic to get to me. So just go ahead and book it before you get your luggage. I promise it will all line up. It will all work out. If you're in a area that is high traffic, it will line up. You won't have to do too much waiting, because I know after I get off that plane, I just want to get in my car. I want to go home, and I probably want to eat and just relax and say hi to my cat. So thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you will put these travel tips into practice to make this holiday travel season the best one yet. I'll see you on the next one.